After days of extending its intensive military drills near Taiwan, China has now said that its military has completed its tasks around the region and has wrapped up its war games. That began after US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to the island last week. While addressing a briefing, China's Eastern Theater Command spokesperson said that the military has completed the drills as of now, but it will continue to have regular patrols in the area to keep a close eye on the Taiwan Strait. Listen in.
The Eastern Theater Command had recently organized a series of joint military operations involving various types of services and forces in the sea and airspace around the Taiwan island. It has successfully completed various tasks and effectively tested the integrated combat capabilities of the troops. Theater forces will keep a close eye on the changes of the situation in the Taiwan Strait and continue to carry out training and preparation for combat.
A recent report from Taiwan's Defense Ministry has revealed that Beijing's warplanes had flown nearly 300 sorties around the island, including 125 sorties across the Taiwan Strait median line throughout its war games. While not only fighter jets, 10 to 14 Chinese naval vessels were also present around Taiwan at all times during this last week. Beijing's latest war games are the largest show of force in the region since the mid-1990s. It came as a retaliatory action to Pelosi's visit to Taiwan that left China fuming. Pelosi, meanwhile, has defended her decision to visit Taiwan despite an aggressive response from China, saying that the US can't allow China to isolate Taiwan through force. Listen in.
Will not allow China to isolate Taiwan. They have kept Taiwan from participating in the World Health Organization, other things where Taiwan can make a very valued contribution. And they may keep them from going there, but they're not keeping us from going to Taiwan. We will not allow them to. So we think that their reaction, that was our purpose, to salute this thriving democracy. Don't take it from me. Freedom House said one of the freest democracies in the world. Show our respect for that, for the success of their economy, for the enthusiasm of their young people to embrace democracy.
Foreign experts are calling this political situation a new normal. And in this new geopolitical order, China is not holding back. In the latest, China released a white paper titled The Taiwan Question and China's Reunification in the New Era, reiterating its claims on the self-ruled island. The paper also stated that Beijing has now withdrawn its promise of not sending troops to Taiwan if it takes control of the island. This is the first white paper on Taiwan since Xi Jinping came to power. Taiwan, meanwhile, has rejected the one country, two systems model proposed by Beijing by saying that only Taiwan's people can decide the island's future and not any white paper. Beijing considers Taiwan a part of China and has not ruled out taking the island by military force. China has vowed zero tolerance for what it calls separatist activities in Taiwan and reaffirmed that it can go to any extent to take control of the region. Now, for more on this, joining us live from Taipei is Lev Nashman, who is a political analyst. Welcome to the broadcast, Lev. Now, the latest white paper released by China on Taiwan states that Beijing has now withdrawn its promise of not sending troops to Taiwan if it takes control of the island. Do you see the situation escalating from here?
So that's something that Xi Jinping actually said in 2019. So if there's a bit of a silver lining, that's not the first time we've heard this kind of mention. I don't necessarily think this is an escalation from what we've already been seeing this last week. This last week is certainly an escalation. The PRC's decision to conduct so many military drills over the median line is a clear escalation. But the rhetoric we see in this white paper, while certainly a very revealing look at where the PRC sees what it thinks Taiwan wants, it is still within the realm of what we've been hearing from the PRC for quite some time now, with attitudes towards what it thinks unification looks like with Taiwan.
Right. And now in the latest briefing by a Chinese spokesperson, we have seen also that the military drills around the Taiwan Strait have been completed. How do you analyze this statement?
It definitely shows that they feel that they were successful in shifting the status quo to where now military drills are no longer being conducted just in Taiwan's air defense identification zone, but towards the median line. And that is an escalation. That is a change in the status quo. What I think everyone is eager to see is the frequency and normalcy of these types of military drills. If they continue where the median line is, if they pull back at all, if they return to just conducting military drills around the ADIZ, I think everyone is very keen to see what direction the PRC takes their continued military threats in.
Absolutely. And we saw Taiwan obviously has rejected now the one country, two systems model proposed by Beijing, saying that only Taiwan's people can decide the island's future and not any white paper. Take us through the details of this statement.
So it's not surprising that Taiwan rejects one country, two systems. This has been very much part of Taiwan's political discourse for the last few years. Especially during the 2020 election, you had candidates from every political party denouncing one country, two systems. Both the DPP and the KMT had to come out against it, especially in the backdrop of the Hong Kong protests. And that sentiment matches up to civil society. Public opinion data shows, as recently as fall of 2021, that almost 90% of the Taiwanese public reject one country, two systems. So there's a major disconnect between what the PRC thinks it can sell to Taiwan and what Taiwan is willing to accept, which is not one country, two systems in any form.
Lev, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast and your valuable opinions there.
Thank you.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.